So yeah, let's go over that late night challenge. Looks like most folks got it 99% of the way, except for that one serializer bit, um, which is always the hang up. But yeah, cool. Let's take a look at what we need to do here. I'm gonna go ahead and share screen. If I can find the share screen button. Yep. I don't have my second monitor, so y'all have to be right here. Okay. Cool. So I cloned that down. Oh, let me show some folks were asking how to if you didn't clone, if you forgot to fork it and only cloned it. So when you clone a Git repo, it creates this .git directory, and that's basically the directory that makes it a repo that has all the stuff in it, that has all the changes and all the infos and but if you want to start fresh and get rid of your, you can do rf or fr .git. That will get rid of that directory altogether. I will also sometimes do a mv.git, like just a tab or something, and that will get rid of it, moving it to a temp directory. Once you bring it back, rf gets rid of it forever. So if you're not confident in it, moving it might be a good way to do it. And now we don't have a Git directory anymore, so I can do Git in it. And now we have a Git directory again. There's our Git. If I do branch, we don't have any branches yet. So now we have our main branch there. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up here. Let's take a look at what we have. So yeah, let me do a bundle installing first. All right, so that's all installed. We have tests that should all be failing. Hopefully, excellent. Good. Cool. So there's some seeds, but not many probably. Oh, cool, awesome. Oh yeah, it goes through that data file. Pulls out that from the CSV. Slick. All right, so we've installed it. We'll assume it's running, and let's go and see what we need to do. Most folks seem to have gotten through this part pretty quickly, so I'm gonna kind of roll through it. If you need to ask questions, ask at any time, and we will go ahead and talk a little bit more about it. And this is one of the actual code challenges, so this is what the code challenge tomorrow will look very much like. If you're watching this in the future to cheat on your code challenge, don't. Cool. So this is gonna have 3 models: guests, episodes, and appearances. The main is talk show of some kind, late night show. So each episode has many guests through appearances. Each guest has many episodes through appearances, and an appearance belongs to both a guest and an episode. Looks like that. Episodes have date and number, guests have name and occupation, and appearances have a rating and the items there. Yeah. Cool. So let's take a look at what those migrations are going to look like there. We don't have any migrations yet, so I'm going to go ahead and remember how to use a generator. We want to make sure that we're using the no test framework there. So I'm going to do Rails generate, do a resource, or well, I don't want to do the whole thing. I'm going to do it by hand. Well, no, I'm not going to do it by hand. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to do a Rail generate resource, I guess. I'm going to call it, what do we want to do first? Let's do the episode first. Yes. Episode, and I'll do the rest by hand. And then we'll do no test work. Always, even to this day, I'm always sketchy on using generators because I'm old and cranky. How am I doing stuff by hand? So we've got all our stuff there. It probably generated a bunch of stuff in here for us, for our models and our controllers. And did it make us a serializer? Yeah, we'll have to be careful with that. Right now, it's just doing the ID. But the important part is it's got a migration. So let's go ahead and throw our stuff in. Episodes have an ID and date, which is a string and a string and a number there. So let's go ahead and make our date. That's going to be a string. It says varchar, but string is fine. So it has this is going to be the date, and this is going to be a integer number. I got the magic. Cool, and that's that for that. Let's go ahead and make our stuff for the other ones. Appearance and guests. Cool. And our guest is just going to have our name and occupation. Those are both strings. And our, what we got there? Our appearances. Yeah. Appearances. Our appearances are going to have the IDs for other two things, our guests episodes. You can do integers, you can do, belongs to, whatever you like. I'll do this here. Episode guest. Yeah, we can do an integer. Either way, it'll be fine. I'll do integers. I like it both ways. As long as, because it turns into the same thing underneath the head. Cool. Those are our migrations. Let's run those and make sure it didn't mess anything up. It's fine. Let's go ahead and do our seed. And then guest ID verb. Oh, maybe I should make these IDs. Let's try that again. Oh, I can either roll it back or I can just blow away the database. How about that? Just blow away the database system. Cool. We'll migrate again. And we'll see again. Rating for appearance. Oh yeah, we should have the rating in there. That'll be good. Is there another thing? There's just a rating. One more time. Oh, we should probably migrate it first. Cool. Last time. Fantastic. Cool. Sweet. So those are the migrations. Pretty straightforward. Any questions on those? We're gonna move ahead. Cool. So we need to talk about our validations here, and we're just going to throw that on the model, I guess. So that's going to be So it created all these for us. Appearance model looks like that. Oh, and we need to do our associations while we're here. So we'll do that while we're here. So our appearances ratings can be between 1 and 5. So appearances belong to a guest. They belong to an episode. Let's go ahead and have those. And we need to validate. And it's going to validate rating. And we can do inclusive. Yeah, we'll just use that inclusive. Inclusion. We can say it's in 1 to 5. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. I think that is the way I would like to do it. If someone else did it a different way and it works, great. Cool. And while we're here, we'll do the other relationships here. Episodes. Episodes has many appearances and has many guests through appearances. All right. Cool. And then our guests are the same, just backwards. Episodes. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's run the test and see if we're good so far. Bunch of errors still. Error occurred. Relationships. Okay, so let's see. What did we do here? Yes. 1, 2. Oh. Let's do where are we here? Yeah, don't need that. Those are macros. All right, one more time. A little bit back. Sweet. So those are good, those are good, those are good, and the rest are things we haven't done yet. Cool. So those are all our relationships. Any questions on how to set up those relationships? It's got those so far. Ooh, cool. So that's our models. Let's take a look at our routes next. Cool. So yeah, let's go down the line. Take a look at our episodes controller. All right, so our episodes controller is going to have an index and get and a delete, and that's that. Awesome. Cool. So I don't think it fills in anything because we didn't do a scaffold. So yeah, let's see what we need here. We're gonna have an index. Get. Nope. Show. And delete to destroy. So our get is just going to, looks like it's just going to grab it and render it out. Since we, so this is going to fail if we just do it straight up. So if I do, render JSON, this should fail, I'm guessing, because yeah. So I bet if we look at our thing, if we do a this, and look at, yay. Should give us the episode with just the IDs. Yeah. And that's because we have, when we do, and this, man, this got me lots of times. When you do your generator for your resource, it's going to create a serializer by default. And by default, it's just going to show the ID. So we want to add in our, what are we looking at? Our date number.
I have a question about this.
Yeah.
So when you put these attributes in the serializer, does that mean that when you are creating the show method in that model, does that mean you don't have to put that except created at or updated at?
Yeah. So again, there's a couple different ways to do it. So this will get us what we want. Since it generates the serializer already, these days I go back and forth. These days I tend to put the stuff in there. If you're not using the serializer for a specific reason, you can just blow away the serializer and then do the accept in there. I feel like this might be a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit more Railsy, which is not always my style. But I think if you're working with Rails developers or on Rails team, this is probably what you will see more often. So that's where I would go.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if that passes the test. Episodes, good episodes. Yeah, awesome. So it did the thing. And the other benefit is that when we say get an episode, it'll use that same serializer for it, so we don't have to repeat our code in our controller to do the accept there. Keeping it dry. Cool, but we are going to have to do a custom serializer anyway for this one. So that's going to look like this. So in our get, or in our show, yeah, so we're going to need to go ahead and in there do a, yeah, we'll just tell it to use the serializer. Well, do we have to? Yeah, we have to tell it to use that serializer explicitly. So do a render JSON. We'll do episode find params ID. And of course, you can break this out into variables if you want to. So that would get just what we wanted. It would look just like the other one. We want it to look like this, though. So we want to return it with guests. So I'm going to make a new serializer, I guess. That serializer is going to be called episode with guests, I guess. Serializer. Maybe not JavaScript. Cool. So episode with guests. Serializer. Active record, active model. Yeah, active model. Serializer. Great. So we want our attributes, we want our ID, we want our date, and we want our number, just like the other one. Feels like it would be handy to be able to just include the standard serializer. I wonder if there's a way to do that. I don't know. But here we just want to say has many guests. And that should include the guests for us. We tell it if we tell it to. Yeah, so we render that out and we tell it explicitly to use that serializer lowercase. Episode with guests serializer. Cool. So that will find the one with the param that we're putting in. It's going to render the JSON. It's going to use that serializer that we built there. This should be named to lowercase probably. Cool. Let's see if that test passes. Failed. Okay. What do we do here? Cool. So if we wanted to get so one. All right. Oh, we should probably fix up that guest serializer too. That'll do it. So our guests serializer is going to look very much like our regular serializer, our regular serializer. So that will be ID. It's going to have name and occupation. S here. So great with an invalid ID. Oh yeah, so we got to do our what you call our rescue, right? So in the controller for episodes, that's where we want to do our rescue from, right? Rescue. And that's going to be, let's see, doesn't exist, still not found. It should be, check in the episode. It's looking for episode not found. Cool. Not found. Awesome. Yep, that's what we want. Cool. So in our rescue from, we're going to look at active record. Not found. Not going to give it to me. Okay. Biggest record not found. Cool. I think that should get us there. Oh, we need to give private methods. We need to define that record not found. So let's do that. Found. And this is just going to render our response. It's going to render our error. And it's looking for episode not found. And we need to get status code. So, nope. It's not found. Just plain old not found. I feel like that'll do it. Rescue from active record. Found with that. Let's find out. Cool. That works there. Awesome. I know folks had questions about the rescue stuff before. Any questions here?
I have a quick question, not specifically about this rescue from or this status code. So the status code message of status 200 okay, we don't have to like explicitly put that. Is that just it's like just return? It's just implicitly returned every time it's successful.
Yeah. So when you render JSON, it's going to default to okay.
Okay.
If we could, and if we wanted to, we could explicitly say status okay there, or 200.
But it's not necessary.
Right. Yeah. So it does that automatically if it's a successful request.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Cool. Let's do our deletes. I think we're actually going to have to change our migration or model. I forget which one. but let's do our destroy. So we're going to do episode. Now we're going to find by ID again. And params ID destroy. And when we're done, we want to give it our okay. And that just sends a header, it doesn't send a full response. And so this is going to, is it the episodes that's going to fail or the other one? Yeah, because it wants us to destroy the, nope, that's right. Nope, that's wrong. There we go. Deletes associated appearances. So for that one, we want to change our, what is it? Is it the episode? Yeah, in our, not in our migration, but in our, is it in the model? As many appearances. Yeah, so we wanted to destroy associated appearances. So those appearances, it has many of them, and we want to do our dependent destroy. Dependent spell. So that's saying it has many appearances. When we get rid of an episode, it's going to get rid of all the appearances on the episode because those also do not exist anymore. And I believe we're going to be doing the same on our guests. Probably, maybe. Oh no, because there's a destroyer. So let's check and see if that did the deal. So dependent destroy. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Questions on that?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So for like dependent, so if you delete an episode, you delete the associated appearances.
Yeah.
But that doesn't affect the guests that also have the appearances.
Yeah, because we're not doing dependence around those.
But like, would there, if the appearances are gone, would the guests just have IDs? Well, I guess. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the guests can still have other appearances, right? But it's not going to have these appearances.
Yeah.
Cool. Other questions? Active response body. That's awesome. I think the rest is relatively straightforward. Let's do our guests. Cool. So that's gonna be our guest controller, and we're just doing a simple index there. We're gonna have to do our, oh, we did our serializer already, right? Yeah, cool. Cool. So our guests is gonna be it's just gonna be our index, right? Yeah. That's just going to render our JSON there. Render and it's gonna be missed off. Don't think there's anything past that. Let's see. Cool. Does not, we're gonna have to mess our roots a little bit. That's fine. Routes. We'll do that last. Here's our appearances. And all we're doing is a post. Awesome. Cool. So let's go ahead and look at our appearances here. Application appearances. Awesome. So, and we're going to have to do some trickery with our params, I think, since we're creating some. So we're creating a new appearance associated with an existing episode and existing guest. It will accept an object with the following properties. So we're going to be sending along a rating, an episode ID, and a guest ID. Cool. If it is created successfully, we're going to send back a response with that data. Cool. We might need to mess the serialize. We'll see. We're going to have to update it anyway because it's just returning IDs now, I think. Cool. So we'll go starting there. Sweet. So let's do our create. Cool. So let's create exclamation point. Let's create. And we're just going to get some params down here. I'm going to go ahead and write that now. So this is going to be our strict params method here. We're going to spell it like appearance params, I guess. Oops. Awesome. And we just want to return params with permit on them. And we only want an episode ID or a rating, an episode ID, and a guest ID. Rating, episode ID, guest ID. Cool. So this is saying take the params, run the permit method on it, and it's going to return the remaining params. That's what we want here. Awesome. So we're just gonna, when that's done, we're gonna render it out. Render on appearance, and we need to give it appropriate status. Here's where we want to give it created, because it's going to give a, it's created 300 something, created a 200 something, the created number. $201, great. So instead of 200, okay, we just return 201, or we could say, assuming we can create it. Cool. So that's that. We've got our strong params there. We're going to need to do our error handling here, which means that it's going to return that array. Okay, cool. And here's where we're going to do our rescue from. Bang there, so it'll work. Invalid, I think it is. Where's my thing? Oh, that's the thing to turn invalid. Okay. Cool. Invalid. And so that's when it's creating it. So it's not our appearance params is the thing is checking what's sent. And record invalid is checking the create. So when it tries to create and write it, which is the exclamation point, if that record is invalid, so if we're missing a column, or if there's stuff in there that the database doesn't accept, that's when it's going to throw record invalid. We're going to handle that with our record invalid. Sure. That will write. And this is, although we're calling it the same thing because that's what it is, we could call it whatever we want. And so here's where we're going to render our JSON. And we want to give it this object here. So errors. This is going to be from the errors array that we're getting. So we need to take that event. We need to return the event. Again, I think it's in there, right? It's the messages, right? So it's in the record that's getting record invalid. All messages, full messages, full messages. And so that will return that array of errors. Then we need to give it that unprocessable entity thing. So it's the status. Double. Seems like it'd be easier just put the number in. Unprocessable entity. That's how you spell that, right? Yeah, I'll take it. Let's see if that works. Nope. Oh, this is where we need to do our serializer, right? Well, serializers. Serializer, appearance, serializer. Cool. So right now we're just getting the ID. And so we wanted to get the ID and rating here. So ID and rating. And we wanted to give our, so each belongs to, so it has one. So appearances have one, guest appearances have one episode, right? So it has one. So yes. So that should give that data and that data. So it has one episode, has one guest. Cool. Let's see if that does it. All right. And now I just need to mess our routes around. So that's going to be in Fig. Yeah, routes. Cool. And then in here, yeah, got all the stuff. So we just want to do our so what do we have? Guests. Guests only has an index, which is our create. Appearances only have sorry, our guests, our appearances only have create. Our guests only have the index. Index create. Index create. Index create. Index create. Our episode. Episode has one guest. Done with that one. Done with that one. Done with that one. Wow, so many things. That one, great. So our episodes. Episode says index, show, and destroy. Show, destroy. Next show, destroy. Cool. Let's see if that works. Hey, there we go. Cool. That will do it. All tests pass. Nothing else. Sweet. Close that out. Close that out. Awesome. So that is that. The trickiest bits are the serializers. I think the rescue stuff always feels tricky, the same every time. So I looking these up is a thing that always happens, especially this part here. My brain has the numbers in it usually, but this is the more railsy way to do it. So that's what we do here. Strong params, pretty straightforward. But yeah, I think the only thing that folks didn't all get really was the serializer here. So yeah, so our episodes, I'll throw our serializer on there and whatever you're calling that episode with guests. I just throw that in there. Of course, the serializer here is going to have the same thing. Okay. Yeah, and that's all I got. Pretty pretty straight rails thing. But yeah, folks nailed it mostly. If this was the actual challenge, probably just give folks a few minutes to finish up the serializers and call it a day. Other than that, yeah, anyone have questions about anything they felt that was unclear or tricky or stuff that I did that we want to go deeper on?
I had one question
Okay.
about the serializer for has one. Does belongs to not work or?
Yeah, because belongs to is the opposite, right? So appearances have one. Will belongs to work? No, it's not the opposite. Belongs to has one. Yeah, I guess belongs to this. I'm totally wrong. Belongs to and has one is the same. I bet it would work. Let's find out. Yeah, same thing. More than one way to do it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was looking at the like. There's one. Great, got it. Yeah, belongs to and has one are the same, not opposite. Belongs to has. There's no opposite because they could be either way. It could be one to one, could be one to many. Can't say. Sweet. What else we got?
I was gonna ask for the applying your learning practices. I
Mhm.
did the camper one yesterday. Are there any others that you would suggest doing today?
Yeah, I think there's one other. I'll see if that's released or not, and if not, I will do it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The one more did get released today, and I tried that one, and I might have just messed up something, but it seemed like the tests weren't working for me. Or one of the tests specifically, to the point where I literally went to the solution branch and copy and pasted the code
Mhm.
into my machine, and so the test still didn't function. So
Oh,
I'm
you
just
remember what
not
test it
sure.
was?
Give me a second.
Is it the cosmic travel one
Mhm.
you're having issues with?
Yeah, it's that one. I couldn't remember I can't remember exactly what test it was that wasn't working.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at it and see what we got.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Sweet. Anything else we want to hit? Cool. Yeah, like I said, folks pretty much nailed it. So just brush up on your serializers. Sleeping tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, let's do that. I think that's all I got. Last call for questions before I hit the end button. Feeling good? Cool. Sweet, yeah, that's all we got. So I'll put this recording up in the usual places if you want to review it. Again, this is very similar to the other code challenges, so build and burn this one as much as you want, and you'll be super good. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all in a little bit.